Telegram won't connect on your Android phone. Messages sit on the clock icon, channels won't load, and you're not sure if it's your network or a block somewhere upstream. The fix isn't another app, and it isn't root. Telegram on Android has proxy support built straight into the app, and once you know where the menu lives, you're connected in under a minute. This is the full setup, plus the Android-specific traps that quietly break it. I run managed Telegram hosting and proxy infrastructure on dedicated hardware in Singapore, so I live in these screens. Android places the proxy controls in a slightly different spot than iOS and adds one or two of its own quirks, mostly around how the system kills background connections. I will show you the clean setup and then the things to switch off so it stays connected. Start with why the in-app proxy beats a VPN here. A VPN app routes every app on the phone through one tunnel. That drains battery. It's easy for a network to detect and throttle, and on a censored network, the VPN app itself might be blocked from downloading. Telegram's built-in proxy only routes Telegram traffic. Everything else on your phone uses the normal connection. It's lighter, it slips past VPN detection, and you don't need to install anything new, which matters when the Play Store is throttled in your region. If Telegram is your only problem, this is the precise tool for it. Android Telegram supports two proxy types, the same two as everywhere: mtproto and SOCKS5. mtproto is Telegram's own protocol with built-in obfuscation. It wraps your traffic to look like ordinary HTTPS, which is what lets it survive deep packet inspection on aggressive networks. Soais IK stili, fontier pains kopo, Phoenixed through a middle server, and it's strongest when that server is a real phone on a real mobile carrier, because then your exit IP looks like a normal mobile customer. To beat a country block, reach for mtproto first. To make your account appear on a clean Singapore mobile IP, point SOAIS at a mobile proxy. I'll walk through entering both. Firmly the fast path first, the one-tap link. If a proxy arrives as a link, it'll start with t.me/proxy, followed by a question mark and some values, or with tg:/proxy. Tap that link on your Android phone with Telegram installed. The app opens and shows a sheet, Enable Proxy, listing the server and port. Tap Enable Proxy. It's added and switched on. That's the entire flow when the link works, and on Android it almost always does because the system hands TG links to the app cleanly. Now the manual route, the one you need when you're typing credentials from a provider or a link won't open. Open Telegram. Tap the three-line hamburger menu top left, then Settings. Tap Data and Storage, scroll to Proxy Settings and tap it. You'll see Add Proxy. Tap it and Android asks for the type mtproto or SOCKS5. Choose the one your details are for. For mtproto, you fill three boxes: server, the IP or host name, port, usually 443, and secret, the long hex string. Paste each one with no leading or trailing spaces. The secret is long, and one missing or extra character means no connection, so paste it, don't try to type it. Tap the check mark to save. It joins your list and after a moment shows a ping in milliseconds, which is your proof the phone reached the server. For SOCKS5, you fill server and port, then username and password if the proxy authenticates, which paid mobile proxies do. A mobile proxy typically gives you a host, a port like 1080, and a user and pass. Enter all four and save. That's how you make Telegram on your Android phone look like it's coming from a real Singapore mobile customer instead of your home Wi-Fi or office network. Before you trust the connection, confirm the IP actually changed. Open Settings, Devices, then Active Sessions, and look at the current session. It lists the IP and the rough location Telegram sees for your phone. If the proxy is working, that should show the proxy's IP and country, not your real one. If it still shows your home city, the proxy isn't actually carrying your traffic. The toggle is off or the connection silently failed. That active sessions screen is the single most honest check you have on Android, more reliable than guessing from how fast messages load. With the proxy saved, tap it to make it active and it gets a check mark. There's a master toggle on the proxy settings screen, make sure that's on. You can store several proxies and switch with a tap, which is smart because a proxy that works now might be blocked tonight and switching beats retyping. Each proxy also has a small overflow menu with Share and Edit. The Share button hands you a ready-made TG proxy link to send someone else. no manual link building needed. Here's the link format so you can recognize and even build it. An mtproto link reads tg://proxy server equals the host ampersand port equals 443 ampersand secret equals the hex string. The web form is the same thing as t.me/proxy. A SOCKS5 link reads tg://socks server equals host ampersand port equals the port, and then optionally ampersand user equals and ampersand pass equals. Read those and you can turn raw credentials into a tappable link yourself. Now the Android edge cases, because this is where it goes wrong. The biggest one by far is battery optimization. Android aggressively kills background apps to save power, and when it suspends Telegram, your proxy connection drops and messages stop arriving until you open the app again. The fix? Go to your phone's settings, apps, Telegram, battery, and set it to unrestricted or allow background activity. On Samsung phones, this is under battery, background usage limits, never sleeping apps, add Telegram there. This one setting is the difference between a proxy that holds all day and one that dies every time your screen turns off. Second, the data saver. If Android data saver is on, it restricts Telegram's background data, which can make a proxied connection feel dead or extremely slow. Either turn data saver off or add Telegram to its unrestricted list under settings, network data saver. On some phones, there's a separate per app toggle for allow background data usage and allow unrestricted data usage. Turn both on for Telegram. These settings hide in different places on different brands, but the goal is always the same: stop the system from starving Telegram of the background connection the proxy needs. Related to that, some manufacturers run their own extra power manager on top of stock Android. Brands like Xiaomi, Oppo, and Huawei are known for it. Those have a second auto start or background permission you have to grant separately, often labeled auto start or no restrictions. If your proxy keeps dropping despite setting battery to unrestricted, hunt down that manufacturer-specific power manager and whitelist Telegram there too. It's the most common reason a correctly configured proxy still won't stay alive on a budget Android phone. Third, DNS and connection leaks. When you use SOCKS5, make sure the proxy is doing the DNS lookups, not your phone. Otherwise, your network can still see which servers you're reaching. Telegram's mtproto handles this internally and isn't a concern. For SOCKS5 to a reputable mobile proxy, the provider's endpoint handles DNS server-side. The practical tell that things are clean is simple. Your account shows the proxy's IP in active sessions, not your home IP. Fourth, official client versus a fork. There are Telegram forks on Android, like several popular ones that add features. Proxy support works on all of them, but the menu wording shifts slightly. If you're following along and the labels differ, look for data and storage, then proxy. The path is the same even when a fork renames a screen. I'd stick to the official client for predictable behavior unless you have a specific reason. Fifth, proxy works then dies in a day. Public proxies burn out, the IP gets blocked, or the endpoint fills with users. That's not an Android problem, it's the nature of free shared proxies. A private endpoint or a paid mobile proxy on a real carrier IP lasts far longer because it isn't being hammered by strangers. Sixth, the connecting spinner that never resolves. If Telegram shows connecting with a proxy enabled and never finishes, the ping probably failed. Open proxy settings and check no ping means wrong server, wrong port, or a bad secret. Fix the entry. If the ping is fine but it still hangs, force stop Telegram from app settings and reopen. Android sometimes holds a stale connection that a restart clears. Seventh, sharing a working proxy to other phones. Once you've got a proxy connected, open its overflow menu and tap share. Telegram generates a TG proxy link you can send to anyone. They tap it and they're connected with the same settings. This is the fastest way to get a whole group onto a working endpoint during a block. One person sets it up, shares the link, everyone taps. Just remember that the more people pile onto one endpoint, the faster it draws attention and burns, so for a censored network, keep the sharing to a trusted circle rather than a public channel. A quick honest note on what a proxy does. It moves your Telegram connection to a different exit and gets you past the network block, and it can change the IP your account appears on. It does not change your device fingerprint or how your account behaves. For one personal account beating a block, a proxy is the full answer. If you're running several accounts that each need to look like a separate real person on a separate real device, The connection is one piece of a bigger picture and the proxy alone won't carry the rest. That bigger picture is what we run. Manage Telegram hosting and proxy infrastructure on dedicated hardware in Singapore. Real carrier IPs and clean endpoints kept healthy so you're not chasing dead proxies every week. If you would rather hand that off than maintain it yourself, start at telegramvault.org and use code TGYT. But for one Android phone and one account, the steps here are genuinely everything you need. One last tip that saves people a lot of frustrations. After a phone reboot, Android sometimes wakes Telegram before the proxy fully reconnects, and you'll see a brief connecting state. Give it 10 seconds. If it doesn't clear, open the proxy screen. The active proxy should still be checked. If it isn't, the reboot dropped it and you just tap it again. Keeping the battery setting on unrestricted, as covered earlier, makes this far rarer, but it's the normal behavior to expect right after a restart. To recap, hamburger menu, settings, data and storage, proxy settings, add proxy, hit mtproto or SOCKS 5, paste server, port, and the secret or your user and pass, save, wait for the ping and turn the master toggle on. Then, and this is the Android specific part, set Telegram's battery usage to unrestricted so the system stops killing the connection. Tap a TG proxy link to do the whole thing in one step. If this helped, subscribe because the next video sets up a Telegram proxy on desktop, on Windows and Mac, where you also get command line options the phones don't have. Thanks for watching.